Chapter review of chapters 19 and 20 of Poppy and Rye by Avi. The main characters in these two chapters are Poppy, Rye, Mr. Canard, Valerian and Clover, Thistle and Curly Dock, and the entire Golden Mouse family. Chapter 19. Poppy and Rye gazed into each other's eyes by the light of the fireflies. The two spoke in whispers as Rye explained to Poppy he was trying to prove himself to her by trying to get rid of the beavers. Of course, he got captured immediately and could do nothing. Together, they tried for a while to bite through the cage, but were not successful. Rye told Poppy he feared he may die stuck in the cage. Poppy said she came to make sure he was all right, but knew she needed a longer vine and help to rescue him. She also knew she couldn't leave the lodge the way she came in. She would have to go by jumping into the water, and this terrified her. Mr. Canard awoke quickly right after Poppy jumped into the water. He thought Rye must have escaped. Mr. Canard quickly went to the cage and saw Rye trying to gnaw his way out. He told Rye he needed to stay. Mr. Canard said he'd sleep right next to Rye's cage for the next few days. He looked about to see if it was a splash he heard, but all of his beavers were sound asleep. Then he noticed little mouse footprints, Poppy's, all around the cage in the mud. He said to Rye, "So you've had a visitor." Then he noticed the hanging vine and pulled it down. He said loud to himself, "I guess I'll have to plaster up that vent hole and hide some new ones. Don't want any mice getting in here." Chapter 20. Poppy didn't know if she would make it to the surface for air. It was cold and dark, and she was very scared. After what seemed like a long time, she broke the surface with a gasp and tried to swim. She hoped she wouldn't meet any beavers. A wood chip banged into her. She grabbed it and started kicking, and after 20 minutes made it back to shore. She shook herself dry and rested a minute, then darted up the hill to the nest. All of the mice were busy packing and scurrying around. Valerian was surprised to see Poppy, as he thought she had gone back home. They stopped working for a minute to listen to what Poppy had to say. She told them all that she saw Rye. He was unhappy but not hurt, and that she had a plan to rescue him. The mice seemed bothered that Poppy was there, and Poppy felt angry towards them. They didn't seem to want to help Rye. She said she needed quills from her friend Erith the porcupine for weapons, and a very long, strong vine, and some volunteers to help her rescue Rye. The mice said they need to speak privately about it. So while the mice talked, she went up to the ridge where she had left Erith and looked around for him for a while. She found no sign of him.